let's talk about Spotify Wrapped. You guys know how much I hate Spotify Wrapped, and I really do appreciate and like the fact that people know I hate Spotify Wrapped, but they still keep sending me the screenshots of their own Spotify Wrapped that shows either my pod, it shows either a random show that they listen to or watch on fucking YouTube, and showing that, oh look, I'm one of the top 1% listeners and shit. So I do love that. That's a good little troll. That I hate Spotify Wrapped. I made that post on my IG stories that everyone was kind of liking and messaging me about, where I basically said, if you're, an adult sharing your Spotify Wrapped, you need to fucking grow up. 0 Aura points. And I kind of got called out for it, right? I kind of got called out for it for a little bit, but I've always been that kind of person. I'm kind of always against it. More so because I think it's just an unapologetic way to kind of show off your supposed eclectic musical taste. I think it's really annoying in that regard. And I also think Spotify's algo is a little bit skewed. I don't think Spotify algo is correct. I think Spotify algo sometimes I think they purposely try and make you look like you're more eclectic than you are. Because I know most of you motherfuckers don't have that much interesting music taste. You'll listen to the same old shit. But I think sometimes Spotify Wrapped will include bands or artists that you may have listened to in passing or whatever here and there in your rap to make it look like you have way more diversity in the stuff that you listen to. When I think most people just listen to the same 5 artists. But I could be mistaken. Either way, I fucking hate it. I despise group activities anyway. So everyone's sharing the same thing and tagging it. It's like, I don't care. Really, really don't care. But I thought I'd read this article courtesy of The Guardian regarding this author called Liz Pelly, who also had a book. She's got a book out at the moment, exposing all the truth behind Spotify and streaming companies as well. I need to read it actually. It's definitely recommended viewing for me. I definitely need to read it and review it for this pod. But this title of the article courtesy of The Guardian is "This Spotify Wrapped Season. Don't outsource your love of music to AI. Don't outsource your love of music to AI." She says as follows. I like year-end season. I like year-end list. I like year-end list season, sorry. I like an opportunity to remember and reflect on the records that stuck with me over the course of a year, especially when there's a chance to recommend something that others may have overlooked. Personally, I don't. I recommend stuff when I'm listening to it in real time. I don't save all my shit and recommend it at the end. I listen to everything I listen to at the moment and share it every single time. Talk about it to at the highest possible volume. I think if you can hate loudly, you should praise stuff loudly too. I just think this like grouping stuff at the end is kind of like fake. I think a lot of people lie about what they're listening to because at the end of the year, no one's going to know. But listen to it in the moment, sharing it, you're a real fan. But what do I know? Let's continue. I like looking through fans' favorites of albums. I don't give a fuck what you listen to be fair. I listen to what I listen to. I don't know. Recommendation is cool, but I don't really give a fuck what you listen to, like in terms of like reading through your list. I don't know. It's the same reason why I don't really understand people get annoyed with people like Anthony Fantano. It's like, brother, like he's got his own opinion, he's sharing it, but kind of getting annoyed or getting happy that he liked or didn't like something that you liked is like, who cares? Like, that's his opinion, isn't it? But I don't know. We live in a weird world. Let's continue. I like looking through friends' favorites for albums that I missed completely, making a big listening queue. I like following along as critics attempt to determine the year's best, even when I end up yelling into a group chat about how wrong they all are. I like it because it all requires looking back, racking your brain and processing your year in listening in. It requires in thinking. You know what? Now this Liz Pelly has said what she said here. The reason why I probably don't like year-end lists, I realize, is because I'm not a big nostalgia person. I think that might be the reason why. I'm not big on nostalgia. I'm not big on Throwback Thursdays. I'm not big on looking back. I'm always like a looking forward person. So maybe that's the reason why I don't like lists, fundamentally. Maybe I don't align with lists and stuff and all this malarkey and sharing because number one, I don't like group activities anyway. I don't play well with others. And I also specifically don't and detest nostalgia. And lists are basically nostalgia bait. Let's continue. This year, as Spotify Wrapped takes over social media feeds again, I'm stuck by how the whole concept seems to discourage the critical practice for something more passive. It nudges listeners away from deep consideration and towards accepting a corporate branded scorecard reflecting a very specific perspective on music value. It encourages music fans to believe that the records that they streamed the most must be the ones they like the most, which is surely not always the case. Exactamente. Case in point, me. The stuff I listen to at the gym is not the stuff I listen to day to day. But I go to the gym more often than I listen to music day to day, I think, in general, right? So your list is going to be a bit skewed. And also, I'm one of those weirdos who uses both. I use Apple Music and I use Spotify. I tend to use Spotify for my kind of like indie, alternative, and like dance music, right? Because I think sometimes Spotify has better playlists and shit. So whatever, I don't know why I just do that. But then on Apple Music, it's everything else. So it's a little bit skewed, you know, because I listen to everything, but you wouldn't see it because I split my listening enjoyment to both. Big up Young Old Vibes in the stream chat. You hate it, but I'm going to keep on doing it. Big up Young Old Vibes. Yeah, I appreciate it. Again, I'm not a stopper of people's fun. I hate something, but I'm not going to stop you hating it. I'm just going to share very, very enthusiastically and very loudly my displeasure at what you're doing. I'm just going to make it known that I don't like it. I'm not going to stop you from doing it, but I'm going to make it very known that I do not enjoy what you're doing. That's it. Let's continue. What is lost when we entrust Spotify system to data collection and interpretation to do our year-end reflections for us? What ideas and recaps are we not writing and sharing when we hand over the labor to tech companies who would prefer to automate our thinking? What playlists are not making when you share the one Spotify has made for you? Because niggas don't be thinking about that. That's why. I share myself in real time when I listen to it. Most people don't be, they just passively listen to whatever's listened to. So when you get a recap at the end of the year, I bet you some people out there get surprised by their recap. They even forgot they listened to a certain album. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Do you know what I mean? Motherfuckers aren't actively listening to anything. Everything is passive. Passive scrolling, passive DMing, passive calling, passive liking, passive commenting. Everyone's passive. People are barely awake, you know? They're just like thinking of, they've got a million other one thoughts in their heads. They're not intensely thinking about the fucking sequencing of an album they listen to. They're not, it's, you know, obsessively thinking about the album artwork, the singles, the fucking chorus, the verses. They're just listening. Do you know what I mean? That's it. So yeah. As with other ways in which convenience culture affects music, from the personalized playlist to the prompt-based audio generation and beyond, it makes sense that some fans should receive their results and see the share button and dutifully comply. I don't comply. I hate complying. I am anti-complying. That's me. Anti-complimation kid. But what's at stake in the sense is our own musical memories and our own personal achieved for our years. When our own thoughts and recollection aren't written down, they simply get lost. When we just accept that we are streaming services tell us about music, taste is true. There is much more that we are not remembering, learning, or celebrating about music for our years and lives. Actually, you know what? All that being said, I'm very anti-list and stuff. But what I might do is I might actually share some of my favorite albums and put them up on my blog. That actually might be a good way to kind of go around the whole, like, okay, I hate doing these fucking lists. I hate them, you know, intensely. But I might actually recommend some stuff that I've actually enjoyed this year by actually making a list myself of the stuff I listen to. All right, cool. And I have a track record of all the stuff I listen to because I actually listen to it. Spotify Wrapped now feels like it's just another example of something personal and precious that is being automated away from us. Another example of the supposed unbearable task of thinking and writing being offloaded in the order to make more life frictionless. It is especially urgent considering in the 2025, a landmark year for consumers being sold on its sort of cognitive offloading via consumer-facing AI. It can feel as though every day there's some sort of startup prompt-based surveillance product claiming to ease the daily burdens of reading, writing, researching, summarizing, or brainstorming. But this is the work that helps shape how we think, how we make connections, what we remember, and what we forget. Yo, can you imagine in maybe a couple generations time, there'll be kids out there that don't know how to brainstorm. There's already kids out here who don't know how to write fucking essays, right? Who struggle to write essays. There might be a generation of kids out there who don't know how to brainstorm. Because brainstorming is just another prompt on a fucking AI. That's kind of scary, you know? Not being able to fucking brainstorm. Jesus Christ. Because of our over-reliance on AI. It sometimes feels unpleasant that it may require friction, but friction is where connection gets made. The working through the process is part of staying sharp and curious and in relation with the world around us. Without these points of friction, the denigration of critical thinking just continues. There is much to be said about how corporate decision-making shapes public memory. When it comes to music, not just because marketing budgets often determine what becomes popular, but because corporate strategy decides which metrics that dictate the value. But rap does not use corporate metrics to communicate what's important to the market. It uses the same logic to make claims about what's important to you. It reinforces its own logic into its just taste, but one's of self. Exactly. It's fucking exactly. To be honest, the one thing I do like about it is the artwork. The design for it has been really cool this year in particular. I don't mind that, but its actual function, me hate it. And there are other reasons to find the whole Wrapped idea generally troubling. not just wrapped by the similar year-end recap campaigns and the other streaming services have launched to mimic it. These are essentially meme-like advertising campaigns for companies that notoriously pay musicians pennies, fractions. Exactly. And they are only possible due to user surveillance practices. As for Spotify specifically, in the year in which the biggest music streaming company has made headlines for its outgoing CEO's investment in military AI technology and subsequent artist boycotts, it deals with major labels to build generative AI products, big changes in leadership, and it's running on ICE recruitment ads. There will likely be much wrapped, synchronized commentary on the state of streaming and the varied reasons users find it and opting out this year. By the way, there's a ton of people that forgot about that though, isn't it? There are a ton of people that are out there protesting, boycotting Spotify, but the moment Wrapped came out, everyone is fucking sharing. Huh? What happened to Palestine? What happened to fucking Palestine, motherfuckers? Exactly. So what will we opt to do? So what will we opt to into instead? This year, rather than letting a streaming service tell you what records were important to you simply because you played them the most on the one app, consider taking the time to write a list based on what you actually connected with. Imagine people writing. Woo, that's scary. Share it if you like it, even if it's just notes app screenshot or a scribble, handwritten list that you photograph and share with a caption. Even if you only text or email it to some friends, or if you prefer, write it in a notebook just for yourself and your archives. It's like, it's not that, it's so good. I used to love actual reading actual people's lists, like, you know, published. Like there was one blog, I forgot, I don't know if it's still around, a really cool music blog called Sophie's Cutting Room Floor, Sophie's Floorboard, Sophie's Underground. I forgot, something along those kind of lines. If you know about music, that's really good in terms of recommending a lot of like alt or indie, hardcore, grunge, whatever, metal. Loads of really that kind of whole world. And I used to love their end of year list. I used to fucking love their end of year list. I can already hear some of the defeatist replies in this idea, likely to receive, but the people who post their Wrapped were never going to make their own list anyway, to which I say, why not? It may require some research, but at least you can determine the parameters for yourself. I would suggest a list of records you feel may have been overlooked, or at least a favorite local releases. Or how about a list of the most exciting live shows you saw, or most surprising new to music from the past? The possibilities are limitless. Corporations take so much, let's not let them have this. Exactly. And I agree. Like, I want to see more lists anyway. I want to see more event reviews. I miss event. Like the other day I was watching interview with Dixon from Innovision, and he was obviously celebrating the 20th anniversary of Innovision, talking about the 20th anniversary parties they did, which I missed, all fucking gutted. But still, there's no real account. There's no real account of what happened, unless you go in the comments or you go on the fucking Innovision lovers Facebook group. Big up them. There's no one place you can go where you can see someone's review of what went down, unless you go through a Reddit thread. So I really would like more people to kind of document. You know, if we're gonna ban phones on the dance floor, which I understand, I get. At least people should maybe document and, you know, their experiences and write something. People don't write anymore, but still write something, man. Review it, innit? And then share that experience with everyone else. Because I know when I was coming up in the scene, I used to love that shit. I used to love reading people's reviews of events and stuff. It used to get me motivated, inspire me to maybe go and travel and do my own form of techno tourism. So I really fucking liked it. But the one thing I do like about Spotify Wrapped, to kind of end this segment, is the aesthetics and the design that they went for. I'm not sure who was in charge of it, but I love the textures of the colors they use. I love the font. I love the overall design, you know, of the letters and stuff and everything they're doing here. It's kind of got like a zine feel to it, right? Like a zine, photocopied, kind of handmade, tactile feel to it. So I really do love that. I love how they went with the whole aesthetic behind it as well. So that is the greatest thing about it. But overall, do I care and do I want it? No, of course. But I do appreciate the aesthetic that they went for. You know, I do appreciate the aesthetic. I think it looks really cool how it looks online. But I wouldn't personally want to take part in it because I'm a contrarian. I like to stand out and do my own thing. And I also think if you're over a certain age, sharing your list is like this on fucking social media is R-worded and loser shit. But again, what do I know? I'm probably wrong. What do I know? I'm probably always and forever will be wrong.